Welcome everybody back to another episode of Brunch with the Fellas, bringing you the latest trending topic news. I'm Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV. Always with me, Primo Grande, the one and only Cold Seasons, and we are the Brunch Fellas. Peace, cuz. How you feeling this evening?
Feeling good, man. Just maxing and relaxing. I know that's the
Maxing
old
and
school term,
relaxing.
but we take it back like four flats on the Cadillac,
Like
cuz.
four flats on the Cadillac, man. Like we ain't from the same sandbox. We from the same soap rag. What they know about that?
Man, what you know about that?
What they
Real
know
life
about
cousin
that?
shit.
Real facts, man. But look, before we get into tonight's show, everybody, please smash that like button, share the content, and also subscribe to the channel so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Brunch with the Fellas. Also, also, more alsos. Slide on over there to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick up your copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by the God Ali Dawood. You need to go get that, man. Prices ain't going down, and the rich or the poor, you're gonna get hit by inflation. Okay, that's
Yes, sir.
inflation. So the money printer is coming back on, the prices is going back up, and guess what? It's a perfect time for you to get some seeds in the ground. And so, you can cut costs at the grocery store. And that's just a smidgen of what that piece of literature has to offer. So make sure y'all go check that out. And then after you do that, make sure you head on over to the DB Chef TV gift shop because we got a contest, y'all. Post your DB Chef TV the merch, $1,000 cash. That's right, $1,000 cash. You must subscribe to the DB Chef TV YouTube channel, and then the rules go as follows: take a selfie with your merch. It's on IG, Facebook. Post it, tag it, hashtag DB Chef TV. Most shares and most views win. Good luck to everybody. And like we always say, if your money's tight, it's all right. We got something you can do free.
Smash the
Smash that
like.
like.
That's
There,
right.
there we go. So let's get into these topics for tonight's show. We got AI robots to end slavery. That's crazy, right? That sounds crazy,
Yeah,
but
that sounds insane.
that sounds super insane, right? But wait until you hear the clip because there's a certain part we're gonna get into it, y'all. Because I was surprised at certain things, but yeah, I'll let y'all decide too. So let us know what y'all think in the comment section once we get into that. All right. Then we can head to A Town, Shawty. We got something that it's a very sad story. Um, R.I.P. to DJ Young Slade. That's Lil Jon. If y'all don't know who Lil Jon is, I don't know where you been at. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
maybe you weren't born. Maybe you just weren't born. But Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, man, the king of crunk. His son just recently passed away, so we're gonna go check out the story, pay some homage, and send some love and blessings, condolences, and all that good stuff. That way, peace and positive energy to Lil Jon and the family as they go through the struggle, um, this traumatic time right now, losing a baby. All right, then we're gonna head back up to Maryland, and
So it said Maryland.
Maryland, we're gonna
Like
head to
Maryland. You know when people
Maryland.
say Maryland.
We're gonna head to Maryland and check out this story, y'all. We had some squatters, and they got jailed and evicted. So we've been hearing stories about squatters, and maybe some of you out there own real estate. You have a couple of income properties. Maybe you travel a lot, and sometimes you leave your home empty for months at a time. So this is something that could be that you could encounter and maybe could affect you. But we're gonna go
And
and
maybe you're a squatter.
or maybe you are a squatter,
Or
but if
maybe
you
you a
are a
squatter.
squatter, you might want to get out while you
Yeah.
can, for real, because it's things are changing. And then last but never least, y'all, we gonna head just we in Maryland. We might as well just head
Maryland.
on head on down the Beltway and and go to Pennsylvania Avenue, go to 1600, see what they got going on, because it's another government shutdown, y'all, and it's in effect right now. Now, it isn't complete. But I mean, if any part of the government shuts down, it's shut down. We need a full government, not a partial government, right? So dang, 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 bang, bang, bang. Make sure to smash that like, and we're gonna go ahead and get into these clips for the night.
Let's do it.
Microsoft's AI CEO, Mustafa Suleyman, is predicting most white-collar tasks could be automated within 12 to 18 months. He says that the shift is already...
Hold up. Did you hear that, though, right there?
Yeah, most of them can be in place in the next 12 to 18 months.
No. He said most white-collar jobs. Most white-collar jobs. Want to run that back real quick?
Yeah, let's run it back.
He said most white-collar jobs. That's what she said.
Microsoft's AI CEO, Mustafa Suleyman, is predicting most white-collar tasks could be automated within 12 to 18 months.
Okay, so
jobs, tasks, same thing.
Yeah, and it's it says jobs right here, tasks, jobs. Okay, so what I wanted to do and thought we should do here is bring up white collar jobs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was completely unaware of that that there were like different categories. I always knew of the white collar, blue collar, but that's the only two that I was really familiar with. But in investigating this news clip,
mm-hmm.
it brought about something that said, hold up, white collar jobs. Okay, well, let's see how what could be the effects of this, So in order to do that, let's look at what white collar worker is considered. And we just gonna go right here to Wikipedia. And Wikipedia says a white collar worker is a person who performs knowledge-based, aptitude-based, managerial, or administrative work generally performed in an office or similar setting. White collar workers include job paths related to banking, finance, compliance, legal, risk management, internal audit, data privacy, cybersecurity, insurance, government consulting, academia, accountancy, business and executive management, customer support, design, economics, science, technology, engineering, market research, human resources, operations research, marketing, public relations, real estate,
the whole gamut,
information technology, networking, healthcare, architecture, and research
and development,
and research and development. Okay. So, I mean, we know a lot of people that work in various aspects of this, of these fields. Okay. And I thought that it was pertinent that, it would be beneficial for us to point this out so people could be looking, not being complacent that they got job security. They might think they got job security now, like a lot of people have. And then we notice all these layoffs that have been happening over the last couple of years, and that people are being replaced with AI, and it just maybe has not trickled into these other spaces yet. And these are some of the spaces where it's going to be trickling.
Well, Amazon totally crushed the job numbers. When I say crushed, killed the job numbers with a massive layoff in January, and pretty much those jobs are going to be replaced with robots.
Okay.
So they're getting rid of a whole lot of people to replace them with robots, and it's not just safe for the people that do the thinking jobs and stuff like that. They're not safe neither, because at the end of the day, Like it was either the Washington Post. It was one of them newspapers. They're laying off, a ton of people, and that's because the AI can think so quickly and do things a lot faster. So you can take instead of having 300 people, you can take 30 and do the same job.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about, right?
Mhm.
That all of those particular things, are coming, and we seeing it, and we're seeing this transition
And it's
happen.
here. It's
Like
here.
in the news clip just now, they just said, in the next 12 to 18 months. Like that ain't far away.
Right. That means it's already here. It's already here.
And this transitioning is happening. So what people should do is one, educate themselves and not get comfortable thinking, oh, I've been here for 13, 14, 15 years, they ain't gonna
Yeah.
fire me. Like
Right.
when they'll just be like, nah, everything you've been entering in, all that internal audit, all that data, all of that compliance stuff,
Yeah.
I'm reading this off of here, the all of that stuff now is being put into this program, and it's a little data program that we're gonna have do it and run it with the AI. So, you know, in contrast to that, I'm continuing to read this Wikipedia. Blue collar workers perform manual labor or work in skilled trades. Pink collar workers work in care, like healthcare, social work, teachers.
Didn't even know it was a thing.
You and me both. All right. And green collar workers specifically work in the environmental sector.
Mhm.
And then gray collar jobs combine manual labor and skilled trades with non-manual or managerial duties. So this is what I would encourage people to do. If you think you got a white collar job, all right, or career, and if you think that you're not expendable, okay, don't be so naive. All right. Don't think that you being an employee does not mean that the company won't say, I can make more money if I don't have to pay you. Okay. Because that's what everybody's essentially doing, all these layoffs and all of this stuff. But then look at these other things, these blue collars, these green collar, these gray collar, and these pink collar, you know, because clearly these are things that are going to take a lot more time for AI or robots to um, to transition people out of those jobs. These things right here seem a little bit more, um, like let's say for instance a nurse, right? You're not going to get a robot nurse. Maybe it
Oh no,
may
they handing
it
out the
may
medicine. They're already handing out the medicine at the
it may
hospital. The
happen,
robot. The robot is handing out the medicine at the hospital.
but a home health aide,
Right.
you know when we look at social work, going to go and check on children in homes and stuff like that. um
That's not gonna be replaced no time soon.
so it's things like that you look at. Teaching, who knows, teaching that might change sooner than later, but
Possible.
just giving a little bit of insight to what is here. Just be mindful of that, y'all. Don't get super comfortable thinking that
And
it can't be you.
I will also say too, if you're thinking about how you're gonna adjust and where you're gonna go, if you're really thinking about it real hard and you got the time to go do it, learn robotics. Learn how to work on the robot. They're gonna need
That's
people to
dope.
work on the
Yeah,
robots, so
they are gonna need some people to work on the robots, ain't they?
right.
You
Any I mean
know,
any automated system. It don't just have to be robots, but just things that are robot AI related.
for sure.
He says that the shift is already visible in software engineering, as AI has already transformed the work by driving the next generation of robotics across industry and across defense. Humanoid robots emerging as the future of warfare, the U.S. accelerating AI integration into combat operations. San Francisco-based Foundation Future Industries is developing humanoid robots built specifically for military use. The company is also scaling commercial deployment across the country. In manufacturing, including in the auto sector. Joining me now is Foundation Future Industries CEO, Sanket Patek. Sanket, great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. First, let me get your reaction to what you heard from the Microsoft AI CEO. that all those jobs are turning to automation. You also have the CEO of Anthropic, Dario, who also made a similar comment. He said, and he's probably like the most safety-focused CEO in the AI industry. He says AI will eliminate 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs within 1 to 5 years. Your reaction?
First, great to be with you, Maria. And I actually agree with him. It seems like increasingly more and more, any kind of work that humans do today that is repetitive, anything that does not require high amounts of intellectual skill set, or even things that require high amounts of intellectual skill set but can be learned with a lot of data, all of those jobs are potentially going away, and all of them would be automated with humanoids or other forms of robots.
Well, this is a big statement. What are we supposed to do about that? How can people arm themselves with the right information to actually survive and potentially thrive in this new era?
I mean, this is, Maria, I think this is as close to the singularity as we can be. Like, I personally struggle with this question a whole lot as well. I don't think there's a way to stop all of the AI development unless everybody decides to stop at the same time. China would not decide to stop. US, for that reason, would not decide to stop. So this is an inevitable shift in how our economy is going to work and how humanity is going to work. And it's quite a hard question. Like, I do not know what the purpose or the day-to-day of human street looks like. I am, however, optimistic. I think what's going to happen is, historically, we haven't really gotten rid of slavery. We've just changed that to a financial incentive. So now people are forced.
Oh, pause. You heard what he said? You heard what he said? He said, we haven't really gotten rid of slavery. We've just changed that to a financial incentive. Let me run that back so you can catch that, because I don't think a lot of people caught that right there.
We haven't really gotten rid of slavery. We've just changed that to a financial incentive. So
what you think he mean by that, Cole? Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I really don't know on that one. What you think?
Well, what I am certain of is that we had something called a civil war. And a lot of people think that the Civil War was about freeing slaves and stuff like that, but it actually was what was called a labor dispute. And so it did have to do with slavery, but it had to do with free labor and taxation. So real quick, Civil War, slaves in the South particularly, or wherever slaves were, okay, they didn't have to be paid, but they still worked. All right. So if I own slaves and they produced a product, they ran my business, right? I didn't have to pay them for their work as employees. Okay. So what all of my product that I received, you know, let's say if it was cotton, let's just use that. It's Black History Month, right? Black folks was picking cotton, right, for slavery. So now when I take my cotton to market, I only have to pay taxes on my sales or whatever the market consists of those taxes.
Not the work.
But I don't have to pay none of my labor force at all.
Right.
Okay. So when the North, the Union said, you know, and whoever was the leader of the Union Army, I believe Abraham Lincoln, when he said, no, we want to free everybody. Well, what we want to do is we want everybody to work so we can get taxes from everybody. Okay.
Right.
We don't want you to just be able to have your slaves and we can't tax them because they produce amount of work. And if they get a wage, then we can get a piece of that too. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the new system of employment is. And I was shocked that he would say that, you know, that he would speak so candidly about it. But I do know that there's a history about it that a lot of Americans just don't even understand. They don't even care. Everybody just get up, go to work, and they want their paycheck so they can spend it on what they spend it on, but
Right.
don't understand the history of what we're actually doing. You know, getting up, going to work, and the taxation and everything. Because, you know, not a bad thing, just understanding it. You know, you don't pay federal taxes. Like, it gets taken. FICA is automatically taken.
Taking it out, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so when it's the terms and condition of being employed, you
Right.
know. So
Right.
that's what he's referring to when he's saying, you know, slavery was just transformed, was just exchanged for pay, for financial incentive, you know. And that's why we captioned it, you know, AI and robots, you know, just for shock value or whatever, you know, to end slavery. The thing is now, with all of these jobs being replaced by AI,
Right.
even those jobs that we looked at, those sectors, those fields, those career paths, you know, even if you get a bunch of people to go over there to those things, it's
Mhm.
still going to leave a lot of people unemployed because everybody can't do it, you know.
Right.
Like, at a certain point they may say, okay, we need nurses. Okay, that's why I always encourage young men. I always encourage young men, if they're not going to go in the military, go to nursing school,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. You can get it.
Because you can move anywhere in the country, get a job. All right. uh Also be able to afford yourself and your lifestyle, and then pursue anything else that you want to pursue. So let's say if you wanted to be if you wanted to be an actor, you had dreams of being an actor. Well, I went to school, I got my nursing degree, I got me a job at one of the hospitals working out in Cali. So now I'm going out there, I'm going to Cali, I got me an apartment, got me a place to live. I do my, you know, go and do my shifts, and then on my days off, I'm going making my casting calls, you
Right.
know,
Right.
and I don't have to worry about. I don't have to have a story like, you know, somebody, like, not knocking it, but somebody who had to like kind of get it out the mud, like Taraji P, you know, or Tiffany Haddish, or, you know, people who we've heard who were like homeless, and it was like all or nothing. Either they were going to make it or not. Well, I'm saying they did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that, and you can get you something like a nursing degree, and it will help you be able to have something that you could have forever, you
Right.
know. And yeah, it's just a little insight, but that's crazy that he said that, though. But we wanted to talk on that a little bit.
Now people are forced to work jobs that they don't like doing, and do that for very minimal wage, and cannot buy a house, barely can afford healthcare, barely can afford education. AI has the potential of changing all of that. It has the potential of being able to give everybody good housing, everybody good healthcare, everybody good education. And for the first time in the history of humanity, people can actually do things they enjoy doing. So that's the optimistic side of it. I do, however, worry what this means in the short term, because in the short term, it's going to be a very disruptive change. Elon's called this, I think, a supersonic tsunami, which is probably the right thing. This is going to be an extremely disruptive change. And I think the governments are going to struggle to keep up. But I do think there's a path ahead where the future is quite exciting for humanity. And that's the one that we're striving for.
Okay, so let's talk about your business, because Foundation striking a U.S. brokered agreement with Ukraine to deploy humanoid robots for surveillance, logistics, and other high-risk operations. These 5'9" Phantom units capable of carrying more than 40 pounds, designed to operate in dangerous environments. That's the kind of robot I like to see, because you would rather put a machine into harm's way than an individual. Sanket, tell us more about this collaboration and what's possible when you look at AI related to the military.
I think Maria, this is one of the areas I feel like humanoids will have one of the most profound effects. There are three big use cases that we're looking at, not only with Ukraine, but also with the Department of War within the US. The first use case is just logistics work, so being able to move things around, supply pickup. Now in Ukraine, what happens is when soldiers leave a building to go and do supply pickup, there are drones that shoot at them. So it's better to send human soldiers, it's better to send humanoids out versus human soldiers, because they can essentially do these tasks just fine. And if they get shot, there's less of a concern. The second kind of task that we've been asked to do is around pretty much inspection, repair, maintenance. So that is also not a weaponized task, but a task that is all the logistics work that happens behind the scenes. And the third one is that actually impacts soldiers in a big way is reconnaissance, being able to go into buildings and breach doors and actually surveil that building, make sure it's safe for soldiers to be in. And that's going to be increasingly the future of warfare, which is more and more robots. What people don't realize is we already have, like, compared to the Iraq War and now, we have significantly more amount of robots on the battlefield. Most of them are airborne. Some of them are landborne, but majority of them are airborne. And humanoids give you the ability to be able to become a little bit more precise about tactical things. For instance, if a target's in a building, instead of bombing the building, you can actually go through the building, navigate it, and get to the target, which today human soldiers do. And we are more and more hopeful that humanoids and robots are going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Some dangerous shit, man. It's a whole lot of, you know, I think we seen it coming. You know, it's not like it's been a secret. I mean, hell, you know, normally a lot of things that be in comic books back in the day, you know, you see like an Apple Watch, you can look at stuff on your watch and call people, talk to people, you know, and stuff like that. So we've been seeing stuff like that for years.
Right.
So I think it's the same thing with warfare. We used to see, you know, things like that in comic books and cartoons and everything like that. But I mean, they really talking about changing the game in the, you know, is pros and cons, but I think in the dangerous way. You know, it's almost like a Total Recall or the Terminator type stuff they got going on, like the pre-stages of it. But yeah, you know, a lot of jobs gonna get taken, replaced, lost, everything.
Yeah, they gone already.
And I missed some of it. So I mean, I didn't even see the whole thing, but I missed some of it because I had to run off for a second.
Yeah, but what he was just talking about was what you spoke on, though, just the war component, how the military component, I call it the war component, but how they will be inserted in their mission, their capacity in the military, and just, you know, logistics, recon, and I think he says some maintenance stuff. I don't know, but
yeah, he said like he was like a recovery, search and rescue, some I guess mechanical stuff, and like I mean he's but yeah, that's what you expect from the robots. I mean, you know, and they're gonna have to get them. I mean, hell, like it's even on a certain level with the, you know, you go to Walmart, you know, they got 37 aisles, you know what I'm saying, and you know, 15 of them are self checkout, and they only got 2 human aisles open. You know, so I mean, and those are, I mean, technically, I mean, you taking it up there, but the conveyor belt and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, it's robotic. You know, so you don't just look at a robot as something that's walking around. Like robots are standing stationary, still in jobs. You know what I'm saying? So never move.
I do know and remember when I was in the when I was on active duty and I used to go and get little part-time jobs. One of my things was like going to go work at the grocery stores. And I remember my last little grocery store job before I had got injured real bad. It was they were bringing in the robots to scan the items. So before you would go through, and it was a manual thing you would go through when you're doing stock, and you would count whatever you have, you write down, and then you put whatever you put on the shelf, or you know. But then they had the little things. So now it's kind of weird when you go in the store, and not all stores have them, but but in certain states, when you go in the store, it's like a little robot, and it's just scrolling up and down the aisles, and and it's doing a count, it's counting, it's doing the inventory.
Inventory, yeah, yeah.
You know,
I was in Lowe's the other day. When I went into Lowe's the other day, a robot went by me, and I was like, "Yo, what is that?" So I looked a little bit closer, and on the back it said, "Hi, my name is such and such. I'm here to scan inventory." I was like, "Oh, I mean, let me get out your way." You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And that was that. But yeah, they definitely doing it. I remember, I mean, it wasn't Lowe's, but it was another big box, hardware store like that I worked for. And at night times, man, they would come in and they would have a staffing agency that was totally they didn't work for the store, but they worked for a contract through the store. And their job was to come in every single night and inventory that store. Now they're not inventorying the whole store in one night, but the contract is forever because by the time they get all the way to the other end of the store inventory, and they got to start all the way back to the other side of the store. You see what I'm saying? So I mean, they will come in there and do that job, but now they have robots to go in there. One robot can go in there and do the job of them 20 or 30 people that came in there every single night to do that job.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're not stocking the shelves yet.
No, they ain't stocking the shelves yet.
Yeah,
But
they ain't stocking the shelves yet, but they can count though, and
yeah, they can count,
yeah,
scan, and
they
and
definitely can count, and they can do that continually throughout the day. But yeah, that's crazy though. That's crazy. These AI jobs, and these robots, it's definitely, people definitely should not get comfortable, unless you win something like it, like we said, that they are not targeting at the moment. But it seems like they are definitely coming after the white collar jobs. Like
hey, and what I say, get a job fixing the robots until they can fix themselves.
yeah,
So
I mean, yeah, that'll always, that robotics engine, but I would like to see robotics engineering not be so uh you know like robotics engineering ish. It would be nice if there could be some like some certification courses, you know, because for everybody, let's say if it's a young person, let's say that they don't have a background, let's say they're about 35,
mm,
and they were doing something in one of these fields, in insurance and accounting somewhere or something like that, and they had to transition and move to another field. Okay, well, and let's say they were just like, you know what, well, let me take what Cole said, let me go and see. But then they went and researched it, then they realized that they had to go and do had to go to college,
right,
and
right,
had to
right.
do 8 years of 6, 7 years of study. And it's just like, hold up, no, I got babies in school, and I got this, I got a mortgage, I got this stuff going on. I don't have time for that amount of training to be able to go and re-educate myself to participate in the field. They have it time wise, age wise, okay, but bills and life wise would still be life. So to
Yeah, it would be a total
to
reset.
see so to see something like what is it, robotic engineering, be kind of simplified to something like robotic mechanics,
Mm,
where you could go and you could do 12 months, 18 months paid OJT, you know. So we need to see things like that come about as well, to help facilitate, you know, and transition people from these layoffs to having to re-educate themselves in a whole new field in
yeah.
order to be employed.
Yeah, and I mean, and if anything, make it, so popular that you can dumb down the actual qualifications of being a tech.
Nah, don't dumb it down.
No, 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 no,
Don't
no,
dumb
no,
it
no, no,
down.
no, no,
That's
no.
how that's how they got our robot.
No, listen,
The
listen,
movie.
listen, listen, listen. For being a tech, you see what I'm saying? So instead of making it that you got to go and do all this, like it's some robotic jobs that people can do that you don't have to go and give, all your money to a university to be able to do the job.
Which
You know,
ones?
what's that? Which one? What?
You just said it like you knew it.
No, it's some things.
Which ones?
I mean, you changing screws on a robot, the robot
Nah,
screw
stop
changer,
it.
you know
Stop
what I'm
it.
saying?
Stop
So
it.
I mean,
Stop it. Nah, don't do that. We ain't doing
yeah,
that.
so
We ain't
if
doing that.
so if they're working on like we said, the grocery store self-checkout things. You see what I'm saying? Like you shouldn't really have to have a degree to work on the grocery stores self-checkouts if you can do it without spending $200,000 to go to school to do it. It's something that's going to be needed. Now, for the people that do pay the $200,000, then they just get a better high-ranking job in that industry. But I think it's going to be so many robot repair jobs that you're going to find yourself short of talent to fix them and to keep them going.
Possibly, but I don't think it's going to be as short of talents because there's so many layoffs happening. There was over 1 million layoffs over the last 2 years.
Right.
Like some people just seeing the Amazon ones, like you mentioned, because they just paying attention to it.
It just happened.
But it was if you go look at the data, and the real actual, like it's been layoffs happening since 2024. And it's in 2025 was like the largest in a long time.
Right. With all the government cuts and everything.
From multiple companies, Tesla, Microsoft, Amazon, UPS, FedEx,
the government, the federal government.
Name it.
Yeah.
Well, that
was a lot of jobs lost.
A lot of people though, you know what I'm saying? Like in comparison to the private sector. It's nowhere near. Nowhere near.
How many federal jobs you think was lost in 2025?
You Google it. I'm not gonna think it. It's public information. It's public information, like them jobs you was talking about, like a screw changer on a robot.
Yeah,
yeah.
The robot screw changer.
Yeah, like a robot screw changer. But
hey, I'm telling you, the robot screw changer ain't losing his job for a minute. He's pretty safe.
Man, y'all don't believe that hype. But look, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic tonight, y'all. We're gonna head to A-Town and send some condolences to DJ Young Slade and Lil Jon and his family, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Sad story, but we're gonna go ahead and check this out, y'all. Oh shucks, you know what?
What's that?
Okay. So we're not gonna go there first, y'all. We're not gonna go there first. We're gonna go to these squatters in Maryland. We're gonna go to Maryland.
Yeah, I want to hear that, man.
We're gonna go to Maryland and get to these squatters.
Let's get to the squatters squatting all over the place and people shit.
On Wednesday, nearly a dozen Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies, an army of laborers, and a vacant property security company cleared a $2.3 million Bethesda mansion occupied by squatters since summer.
So we will put everything out then if you're saying something volunteer. Okay. A back door or the deck. I guess that's where they had it in because it's broke. Like that door is completely broke. The screen door is cut. So I assume that's how they originally got this home.
So we're here at the house. The bank said we're not allowed inside, but what we do see is tons of stuff. Everything from a couch to a piano, even a Pac-Man machine. Item by item, workers carried out hundreds of pieces of furniture and trash left inside the now vacant house that was occupied by Tamika Good and Corey Pollard for more than 9 months.
Look, they got the popcorn machine, the Pac-Man machine. I thought they was moving shit out of my house.
They were balling, bro. They were balling.
That's balling right there.
Yeah.
Balling, little machines.
Yeah, man, look at that. Hey, look. They stayed in the place 8 months rent free. That's balling. You know what I'm saying? You should be on your feet and ready to go by now.
They should, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they thought they was gonna have to go.
I think a lot of people do that thing, where they just kind of, they be like, oh yeah, I can take this house if the taxes ain't been paid of, and then I just go in there, and if I go in there and don't stay, and I stay in there long enough, then they can't evict me because I've been there for more than 30 days. Like all that shit is some crazy shit, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All the squatter, the squatter finesse.
Yeah, man, they got rights and laws and all that crazy stuff. Like it's crazy, man. I think squatters, I think people gonna start smoking the squatters, man. For real,
You think
because
they gonna start smoking
yeah,
squatters?
yeah, because if you got a house and you got a squatter in your house, you got a squatter in your house for 9 months. It's one of your rental properties, or maybe two of your rental properties. You got them in your house for 9 months, and you still got a mortgage on that house. The banks that's holding that mortgage don't give a damn about what you got going on over in the court. You still got to pay that mortgage while these people sit in your house and not give you nothing, and you got to keep fighting to get them out the damn house.
Let me
That's
ask you something.
crazy.
Let me ask you something. Would you shoot your own house up if some squatters was in your house? Would you shoot your own house up to make them get out?
I might.
You going to jail? Okay, you going to jail.
Hey, look. Let me tell you something.
You going to jail.
Listen. So take the shoot it out up part out. I am going to go to jail because I'm going to put my hands on somebody. They are coming up out their house, and the thing that gets me about these squatters is that when the property owners show up at the house, they have the nerve to call the police and say it's their house. They have every right to be there.
Yeah,
that shit is crazy.
Yeah, but this is what happens when law enforcement shows up. They say it's a civil matter.
Right.
So you have to take it to court.
Yeah,
it's not a criminal matter.
Right. Well, we're gonna have two. We're gonna have two matters.
So once you start shooting or start putting your hands on people, then it becomes criminal.
I'm just telling you, it's gonna be criminal because I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna have a charge for putting because I'm telling you, I'm putting my hands on somebody in that situation. No, I can't. I just can't. I can't. It's my house. You've been in my house in here for a year or in 9 months, 8 months. I got to pay all this rent, all this mortgage to where someone would normally be renting out, paying rent, and I got to pay it for you to stay here for free and play games in my face.
Yeah.
No.
It sucks. No. It sucks, but that's why I say, man, rent your house out the hood. Guaranteed income.
Or hospitals.
And people ain't tearing it up. Yeah, or traveling nurses, something like that.
Someone near military base, military family.
Yeah, if you near military base, like military families. Well, one thing people don't realize, and I used to always use this to my advantage to keep my rent, to not have my rent go up when I was renting on active duty. I would always say, look, I would say to the landlords, I would say, you have something on me that you don't have on any of your other tenants. If I don't pay my rent, forget about calling the courts. Before you even call the courts, you could call my command.
Right.
You could call my base and just be like, hey, so-and-so and so-and-so is not paying their rent. I don't want to evict them, blah, blah, blah. What's the problem? Because for one, in the military, you got to keep your finances in order. It goes right along with your security clearance. All right. And then two, usually you receive a housing allowance, a housing stipend, and if you get your housing allowance, then you're getting paid to pay for your house. You're getting paid to pay for where you live.
Right.
So, and that's separate from your paycheck. That's on top of your paycheck.
Yeah, it's like a military per diem type thing.
Hey, it's called basic housing allowance, BAH, BA. We call it BA, that BA, So if you're receiving that, then there is no reason, unless you are just completely irresponsible in managing your finances. But I used to tell them that, and even when they would go up on the rent, because every single year a landlord does legally have a right to be able to increase the rent based on
every single year they do. It ain't legally have a right. They do. Every place I've been to when I was renting.
But it's because they legally have a right,
Yeah.
And in order to, I would negotiate that, a lot of times, and I would use the fact that, hey, you never have to come looking for me to pay your rent, Like, I don't know what you have. Look on your books and look at, get your whoever runs the office or whatever to look up my account and see, have I ever been late? Have I ever been late? Have I ever halved you? Have I ever said, I'm gonna give you a little bit now and put something on it? I ain't never put something on it. I always come with the whole thing, you know. So I'm like, if you never have to look for me, then that should be worth something, you know. You should reward me with something. And then once, you know, we have a conversation, maybe a cup of coffee or something, I usually am successful. I usually was successful in that. Couple times, you know, couple times they like, well, we ain't trying to hear that shit. You supposed to pay your rent, but you know, but that's how it go. But this squatting thing is something else.
Yes, sir.
Hours before, on Tuesday night, just before 9:30, Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies moved in to arrest Good once again after previously being convicted and out on appeal for burglary and trespassing charges. Good arrived at Montgomery County Detention Processing Center just before midnight. Meanwhile, moving trucks came and went throughout the evening. By 4 a.m., the last vehicle left, and neighbors say a juvenile was placed in a car. We spoke to neighbor George Folsom on what's next after a more than 9-month battle that brought the community together.
I think for the neighborhood, as well as other neighborhoods in Montgomery County, the county council needs to do a very stringent review of their codes and laws regarding situations like this in which home invaders squat homes. And it's only fair to taxpayers.
Unfortunately, there are loopholes in the system.
Hey, this dude right here,
take advantage of,
bro.
But loopholes.
That's their attorney.
Let me tell you something. So when you told me that you was running this story, right, bro, I was so confused about which story it was. I had no idea what story it was. But this guy right here, I know this guy right here because he been all over the internet for the last few days, and just I think he's a squatter.
He's the attorney.
Yeah, he squatted in law school. He ain't no real attorney.
He is squatted in law school.
Yeah. He squatted in law school.
Man,
he ain't no real attorney.
I think he got the bar pen right there, man. How
Hey,
you know
look.
you can't do that to that man?
Man, we have
That
man. He got
That
the
man
bar pen.
he probably a real attorney. And I could tell he a real attorney, but he said something that he said something at the beginning, and you know, we didn't run this from the beginning, but he said something at the beginning that I wanted to challenge, because he said the guy who he's speaking with right now asked him, he said, were there more than one occupants of the resident?
Mhm.
Right? And he said, I can't confirm or deny, but I will say yes. Okay. So to me, he's a bad attorney, because if that was me as an attorney, I would have said I can't confirm or deny, but I'm representing my client in the
Right.
matter.
Okay.
You know, and that to me is what would have been a more professional response. You know, don't say I can't confirm or deny, but then answer yes. Like, you know, like what type of games you playing?
So I had go ahead.
So he might be, you know, like, so I get what you're saying with the funny bar, you know.
Listen,
yeah, but
no,
at
no,
the end
no,
of the
no.
day, like, he's a real attorney.
So it's another video. I don't know if this video shows it or not, or if it even got to it. Because as soon as I seen him, I know I was like, yo. But they asked her, how did she get the apartment? And he said, cut. He was like, cut. And he was like, the interviewer was like, hey, nah, man, we still rolling. You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, ask the question again. I'm gonna have to find this for you and send it to you. If I would have known that this was the one that we was running tonight, man, I would have sent you the full interview part, bro. You can be like, yo, why we didn't have this tonight, but you'll see why.
It's all good. I mean, his client is in jail. You know, she in jail. I think the other guy, I think the person who he confirmed, it was more than one person in the house. He got picked up on some other charges for something else, and you know, it's all one big shit show, man. Like, it's crazy. But let's finish up with this for you.
Those are loopholes. So, I mean, she did follow what she was, you know, the order of events that she needed to follow in order to take residency within that household.
Goods attorney Alex Webster was pressed less than 24 hours about squatting laws before his client's eviction. Do you think the laws need to change?
I don't think they need to change, but yes, it's definitely an issue that probably needs to be looked at a little bit more.
Madam Speaker.
We took questions to House Speaker Jocelyn Pena-Melnick on some of those possible changes on Tuesday. A woman, and this is also for the majority leader as well, considering he represents Montgomery County, a woman in Bethesda has remained in a $2.3 million house since July. Her attorney told me yesterday that she has squatter rights. Will your house take up initiative to close the loophole on squatter rights this year?
We have had a number of bills coming before us in the Judiciary Committee this year that are exactly on the question of squatter rights and how you define a squatter. So I don't want to prejudge the outcome of those bills, but there has obviously been a lot of building interest to start regulating that topic.
So it's just, we have just 4 minutes, so I'm going to call on 3 people. I will tell you that we are on it. It is a very important issue.
he bullshitted with the answer, but then Sis got up there and said, "I will tell you, we are on it."
Yeah,
but he gave a real nice political answer, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy though, man. You know, I mean, you just go and stay up in somebody's stuff and just stay there, and you know, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's super crazy. Like I don't know how you do. I don't know. Well, I don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff people be doing. I don't know what be on their mind. That's what I said. I told the God. I said, I'm diagnosed. I know what the hell is wrong with me. What the hell is wrong with you? You know, people walk around here undiagnosed, thinking ain't nothing wrong with them, doing the most effed up, crazy stuff. And then be trying to blame everybody else like they ain't do what they did.
You know, I mean, I don't use this too much, man, but I think the thing with squatters for me is the audacity. You know, that's one of those. Right? Yeah, that's one of the things that, you know, like if there's a word in the dictionary that should be next to that is squatter.
Audacity.
Yeah, squatter. You know, I mean, like you really got the nerves to just go up in somebody else's shit and take it. You didn't work for it. You're trying to cut every corner except the corner to take your ass to work to get your own shit. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I just can't get with the whole squatter movement. Like I said, you know, in that instance, I would choose violence. Honestly,
you would choose violence.
Yeah, I would choose violence.
You going to jail?
Yeah, I go. I would be there.
Jail.
Yeah, that's where I would be at because I'm choosing violence, bro. Because you coming up out of there. You're coming up out of there. You know what I'm saying? You're coming up out of there.
Definitely. So now, y'all, we're gonna go and pay our respects to Lil Jon and his family. R.I.P. DJ Young Slade. You know,
rest in peace.
And we're gonna go down to A-Town and show what's going on with this situation.
I go by DJ Young Slade. I DJ, I produce, I engineer, and I'm an artist. And my dad is the king of crunk, Lil Jon.
Nathan Smith, aka DJ Young Slade, son of rapper Lil Jon, has died. He was only 27 years old. The musician went missing earlier this week, with authorities suggesting he was experiencing some sort of mental health crisis and calls to search for him. Before announcing on Friday, they discovered Nathan's body in a pond near his home outside of Atlanta. While an investigation is ongoing, no foul play is suspected. Soon after, Lil Jon thanked the local police department in a statement to ET, writing, "I am extremely heartbroken for the tragic loss of our son. Nathan was the kindest human being you would ever meet. He was immensely caring, thoughtful, polite, passionate, and warm-hearted. He loved his family and the friends in his life to the fullest."
When we get older, we realize we should be, you know, family is important.
Lil Jon welcomed Nathan with his ex Nicole in 1998 as he was launching Atlanta's crunk scene.
Lil Johnny shot boy, hey yeah, let's get this thing crunk.
E.T. talked to the father-son duo together in 2018 as Nathan worked to create his own name and his own sound while studying music at NYU.
One day he told me he wanted to learn how to DJ. This was 11 years old.
It's funny, my dad never like wanted me to be in music. He just like wanted me to do whatever I wanted to do. But honestly, I wasn't good at anything else. I tried sports and it just wasn't for me at all.
And he DJ'd and I literally shed a tear because seeing him kind of follow in my footsteps and to just see him accomplish something and to see him good at it, you know, that was like a really memory that is marked in my brain.
The best advice Dad has given you so far? He told me to handle my responsibilities, to be a man and just live life.
Nathan's journey in the recording industry documented on season 2 of MTV's Family Legacy last year.
This is an original song by me. I produced it, I engineered it, I recorded myself.
Crazy what you gone and did. Now I know what lonely is. Break me like some sticks and stones. Now you got me going, yeah.
Dope to, you know, appreciate my dad, show respect, and just look at all the things he's done. And it's nice to like get the torch passed down. And it comes from him, but also I'm definitely taking it and making it my own.
Yeah, man, sad story. Shout out to Lil Jon, whole family, condolences, prayers, love.
That's right. That's
and,
right.
And strength, serenity, all that good stuff, man. Because you know, I know it's tough, man. You know, lose a loved one, especially lose your son. I got homeboys that done lost their sons, man. They like nephews to me. It's devastating, and pain is unimaginable. So, you know, just a lot of prayers, a lot of strength to Lil Jon and the family.
That's right. Rest in peace to Lil Jon's son and the rest of his family. And what they say, he was having a mental health crisis.
Well, I mean, nobody really knows. We did see the picture with him looking like me in boot camp with the bald head and the eyebrow shaved and everything, but looking faceless.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
But just, you know, understanding like you could be going through something mental that could bring that on, or you could be in boot camp and that's, you know, they gotta cut your hair off, gotta, you know, so I'm not going to take that picture as a judgment of, you know, he's going through something, but they expressed that he was dealing with some things. So, and they were saying that he was missing for a while.
Right.
So, you know, who knows, man, who knows, but
well, they didn't mention foul play or nothing like that. So, I mean,
but they don't know, it's still under investigation. But what we do know is, you know, John lost a son. You know,
correct.
So that right there is something that can't even the investigation will give you some answers into why, but it ain't gonna bring back the JIT. It ain't gonna bring back DJ Young Slade. So,
right,
you know,
right.
Rest in peace once again. You know, prayers and love to the family, and you know, y'all, we cover hip hop stories on all levels over here.
Right.
You know,
and then if a person do need help in a crisis or something, you can pick up any phone in the United States, dial 988, just 3 numbers, 988, and it'll put you in contact with somebody to help you in a situation like that.
988, yeah, definitely, yeah. For veterans, we got a hotline, mental health hotline as well too. So, you know, it's always somebody to talk to, man. You know, mental health is serious.
Absolutely.
I'm not just speaking from somebody trying to speak on something, you know, but HIPAA rules. I'm gonna apply the HIPAA rules, but I will say I understand mental health difficulties very well, very personally, very interpersonally. So definitely, y'all, it's good to have people in your corner. Reach out to people, talk to them, you know, and yeah, and don't be scared to say something wrong with you. You know, I think we carry that as Black people, that we scared, that we think it makes us look weak or whatever. You know, I had that stigma about my what do you call it? My walking device. you know.
Right. Right.
So you know, it's something I deal with myself too. But yeah, but it's help out here, y'all. Make sure y'all get the help you need, and don't be scared to get the help that you need. And once again, love to the king of Crump and his family. You know.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead and move on to our last but never least topic of the night, y'all. Another government shutdown. Dang. When will the shutdowns stop?
The question of whether we'll see another partial government shutdown appears to be settled. There will be another one starting at midnight tonight.
Now the question is, how long will both sides go before they reach a compromise to fund the Department of Homeland Security? Erica Brown has more details from Capitol Hill.
With another partial government shutdown looming, President Trump did not say whether the White House would soon reach a deal with Democrats to fund the Department of Homeland Security and end the standoff.
We'll see what happens. We always have to protect our law enforcement.
Democrats are demanding, quote, dramatic reforms to ICE before they agree to fund DHS, including requiring federal agents to get judicial warrants before entering private property and remove masks during operations.
Unless there are really strong, meaningful reforms to rein in ICE and stop the violence, there will not be Democratic votes to fund ICE and extend the awful status quo that now exists.
But the president continues to defend his immigration crackdown.
They've done a great job. Remember, they've taken out hundreds of thousands of criminals out of our country.
A partial shutdown would begin on Saturday, with Congress already out of town for more than a week, and both parties are trading blame for the impasse.
Democrats can build on the measures that Republicans have already agreed to if they actually engage in serious negotiations with the White House.
Their proposal is not serious, plain and simple. It's very far apart from what we need.
Once the shutdown begins, ICE and Border Patrol will continue to be funded with money from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, while other agencies under DHS, including FEMA and TSA, would work without pay.
Lawmakers say they've been told they will be given a 48-hour notice to return to D.C. to vote on a bill if a deal can be struck.
Yeah. What you got? What you got?
Well, I mean, one thing that I got is, I mean, there's a lot going on, you know, with that is, you know, the SAVE Act in it, and, you know, they want to, you know, demask the ICE agents, you know, which I believe should be done. But one thing that I did notice is that Chuck Schumer, man, he walked up in that joint looking like he was 200, like Mr. Burns. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, Chuck.
I did look at him. I was like, damn.
Chuck was like,
I was
this.
like, damn, is my posture gonna be like that when I get older? I'm like, damn, I need to.
Yeah, man. They we need to get some fresh people in there, man. You know what I'm saying? On both sides. We need fresh meat, man. Pause. You know, but I mean, it's really gotten to the point where you know, it do affect people in real lives, in real situations, in real ways when it's a shutdown. Not all the time everybody feel the effects of it, and sometimes it stretches very far. But when it happens so often, you kind of get desensitized to it. It ain't no shock and all that stuff. It's like, man, y'all do some work, man. Just make the shit happen. Keep the shit running. You know what I'm saying?
Keep it running.
And it's really not as simple as that. But you know,
it is.
But you know, but when I think to the people, man, it's starting to get old. Every single time it's time to fund the government, we gotta go through this shit every time.
Every
you
time.
know, so I mean, you know, it's just bunch of bullshit at this point. I mean, and you know, sometimes you can say, hey, we got other things to worry about, and we gonna focus on the things we got to worry about, but you really can't focus on the things you got to worry about if the government is not up and running and shit is shut down. You know, and another part is, you know, it seems like every year, right around tax time and stuff like that, you know, they want to have this government shutdown fight. You know what I mean? And then from there, You know, then they start messing with people at the IRS, then things get delayed, and then things get cut. I mean, it just be I think people are tired, bro. People are tired of the same old shit, you know, every single time. You know, and it's not gonna stop. So I mean, I don't get surprised no more when they say it's gonna be a shutdown. I start really worrying about it when the shutdown go into past a week or 2 or 3. You know, that's when you start being like, "Oh, okay, well, this thing is whatchamacallit." You know, it can be a really bad thing, but you know, they can work it out. You know, they really can work it out. But you know, somebody got to give on one side, and the other side got to give a little bit. But neither side really want to budge. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's called working together.
Yeah,
working together. It's called bipartisanship. You know, something that I don't know. I don't even think they leading through bipartisanship with everybody picking sides. But one thing that is really that stands out to me about this news article is that they said that FEMA and TSA will not get paid. And it's one thing to say, okay, well, FEMA kind of doesn't actively work on a daily basis. You know, you do have officers that go and do things, facilitate stuff, but the most of FEMA's capacity is response to natural disasters and situations like that. But TSA is an everyday thing. You know, we have hundreds of thousands of flights daily throughout the U.S., national and international. We have cargo. We have all types of freight. We have all types of people moving through the airports. You know, I think that it is very inconsiderate of both the Democrats and the Republicans, just about, you know, I'm not even going to put it on it. I'm going to say of our Congress. I'll just, you know, lump them all together because that's what they are. You know, they're Congress. Forget about what side of the aisle they claiming, what set they claiming, what gang they claiming, what side they picking and choosing. Their paychecks come from the same place. So there should be a level of consideration about that the people who are doing these jobs are not put in situations because of policy issues, because of something as simple as, well, we want the ICE people to have to do this. Right. We want the ICE people to have to do that. It's like, okay, well, they're not getting this met currently at the cost of FEMA workers, households, Americans, all right, of children, parents, children, mothers, uncles, brothers, fathers, sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins, and TSA workers, okay, one and the same, now having to, you know, adjust their finances, and who knows if people, like you said something that was key, you said people kind of just like, okay, yeah, it's normal, they're getting normal. Well, that's cool for people that don't work for FEMA. That's cool for people that don't work for TSA. That's cool for people who aren't federal employees who are bothered by it, right?
Yeah,
like
but
if there's a difference, it's a difference when you hear it, all right, and you feel it. It's a total difference. And I know this from personal experience because back in 2018, the DHS, this funding thing, like Cole was saying, this allows people to get comfortable with it. All right. The Coast Guard did not get paid. All right. So I know what it is to feel it. The difference is that if you aren't a person who's a good steward of your own finances, then you really feel it because you are literally living paycheck to paycheck. You know, I had two people that I know in my circle of friends, all right, that contacted me during that time and was just like, but it was after the fact. It was after the resolution got passed and they realized like, oh, we didn't pay the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And our pay got reinstated, which it always does. They always come to some agreement, but it's just to what expense. All right. Those two people that called me after that, they was just like, bro, you okay? You good? You know, and nobody heard a peep out of me, you know, like, hey, like but everybody isn't a good steward of their finances. Everybody don't have something saved for a rainy day.
Correct.
Everybody don't have access to credit because they prioritize keeping their credit score good just in case something does happen. They can either access credit if they need it, or they got a little cash that they can get a hold to, or they have some, you know, stocks or something like that, or some crypto or whatever, some assets that they can sell and get some quick cash to take care of things that they need to take care of if their income is strangled or, you know, or cut off for a while, for a temporary time. So it's unfair to those people to assume that everybody gets it after the first time, you know.
You're right.
Like, you know, it's so unfair because like you said, we get used to it. We get used to hearing it. All right. It doesn't mean that all of those people who work at FEMA who may be affected, or all those people who work at TSA learned from the last time. You know, to say after the last time they was in a jam when their pay got stopped during the last shutdown, during the full shutdown.
Right. The people at TSA, well, they end up getting a $10,000 check.
Well, everybody, it's not about that. Everybody gets back paid. Like this, that's not.
No. It was a bonus. It was a bonus.
Well, a bonus or back pay, it don't matter. Like we ain't get no bonus, we got back pay, but it doesn't matter. All right. Like it does once they agree and the legislation gets passed, the budget gets passed specifically, you know, then you get your retro pay and you get your current pay, whatever, you know, you just continue. It's just that break. Everybody ain't prepared for that break, you know, and that's the unfortunate thing that people that I don't think that Congress considers, that there's no humanity or no empathy towards that, you know, that everybody isn't stable. You know, a lot of people are working from check to check. A lot of people are just making ends meet, you know, and they got a good government job too, you know. So, you know, it's pretty foul, but it's pretty foul, man. But ain't nobody gonna do nothing if people just gonna keep taking it and be like that this is the part of, you know. And that's not, I ain't making no call to action. I'm just saying, like, people need to speak up to their Congress people and let them know, like, man, like, y'all can't keep doing this and putting us in this situation.
Well, I tell you, I call it a call to action. It's that exactly what he said. Call to action. Y'all go and call your Congress people, hit them, write them, look up their email and all that stuff, and yeah, talk
For
to
sure.
them. And it really does work. It really does work. Talking to your Congress members about things, even in, you may have a situation that's not a big situation for everybody else. Just, you know, you may be having trouble at some hospital or getting harassed by some city building or something like that. You can write your government officials, and especially the local ones, and you can actually see results. So
big facts. Yeah. So that's all we got tonight, y'all. We had the AI robots to end slavery. Y'all let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Watch the article. It's gonna be a link. It's a link in the description to all of these news topics tonight, y'all. Rest in peace to Lil Jon's son, DJ Young Slade, and condolences, you know, to the family, and prayers and strength and everything. Once again, can't say it enough. Squatters in Maryland get jailed and evicted. That was a crazy story. And you know, squatter rights, if you own property, you know, it'll be good to do some due diligence and just Google your squatter rights laws just to get an idea of what you could possibly be, encounter, to be prepared for. Not that, you're going to come across that, but you never know, owning your properties. If you're already in the rental property game, but you may have a home that you live in, and you just like, okay, once your future plans are just like, okay, once I get to a certain place, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this from to an asset,
Right.
turn it from a liability to an asset, because the home you live in is a liability. The home you live in is not an asset.
And if you are Googling your squatter rights because you're a squatter, get your shit together.
Definitely. And another government shutdown, y'all. So once again, we just gonna send some prayers and everything out to all the folks that may not get a paycheck, and these food banks and things. Luckily, in America, we have food everywhere. We have people that care. So there will be some resources, y'all, and hopefully them same resources that were available during the first shutdown, where it was larger groups of the government affected, those resources are still available. So check your localities, and if you may be affected by this temporary shutdown that they're calling it, this partial shutdown that they're calling it, if it affects you, and then also make sure that going forward, that you put yourself in a better situation financially. Don't just be willy-nilly with your finances. Don't just think it's cool to just hate the struggle. I do. Don't fall in love with the struggle, man. Struggling ain't cool. And sometimes a lot of things that we do are self-inflicted. You can't do nothing about your job and who cutting the check. Sometimes you can get a new job, but at the end of the day, if you like where you work at, you love what you do and you enjoy it, then you can do things like Cole was saying, talk to your Congress people, talk to your senators, and voice that, that, hey, it's a financial burden, but then also you have something that you can do yourself is just in case I ever might go through this again, what can I do to prepare myself if this happens again? So that way I can be mentally prepared, financially prepared, and then I ain't gonna be scared.
Right.
I can do what we need to do. So that's all we got for tonight. Want to thank everybody for pulling up. Y'all make sure to like and share this video. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Brunch with the Fellas. Real quick before we get up out of here, y'all head on over to www.bksoulfarm.com and pick your copy of 1016 160 Self-Sustainability by the guy Ali Dawood El. You need to get that. And also right now we got post your DBCHEFTV merch to win $1,000 cash. Grand prize going on. Details are on DBCHEFTV on Facebook, IG, and Twitter. Most views and shares wins. Good luck to everybody. And we paying out on Cash App. So y'all go get you some merch and post that, y'all. Post that merch, and get this money. Get this money. Because if we keep doing it, my goal is to keep doing it. We just want to keep doing it. We want to share. I could take the money and spend it on other stuff, or I could take the money and you shop with me and I spend it with you. So
when you say it end on March 10th.
March 10, 2026, midnight, Pacific Coast time, West Coast time. Yep. So everybody have a peaceful, positive, and productive rest of your weekend. And we'll see y'all next time, Friday night, 9 p.m. East Coast time. If you don't have a date, then Brunch with the Fellas is your spot, so don't be late. I'm Chef Earl Pearl at DBCHEFTV.
And I'm Cole Seasons. Cole Seasons. That's right.
And we'll see y'all next time. Peace, cuz.
Peace.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016 160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Post your DBCHEFTV merch to your social media and enter to win $1,000 cash. That's right, $1,000 cash. Must be 18 years old or with parental consent. See contest rules for full details. Visit the DBCHEFTV gift shop and post your merch to win.
Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then Brunch with the Fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude at Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigar Panel. Smoking on words like two big nerds. Hosted by DBCHEFTV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. You are the key to your financial freedom. So unlock your inner wealth with financial fundamentals at Bows on the Table. Subscribe today and never miss a meal at Bows Podcast. Bows on the Table, now streaming on YouTube. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at DBCHEFTV.com.